Hey everyone, how you doing today? And welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about The Last of Us Part 2. Well, I'm giving you my review of it, and I'm going to be splitting this out into a non-spoiler section and a spoiler section. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, let's get on with the intro. So, this game is a sequel to The Last of Us Part 1, or The Last of Us, which came out on PS3 in 2013, which is a Sony exclusive made by the creative team of Naughty Dog. If you don't know Naughty Dog, they're the people who made Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted series, and, well, The Last of Us. The Last of Us is one of the best games ever made. I would even say it's one of the best games ever made, and a lot of people would probably call it a masterpiece. It's a groundbreaking game in high-level top tier storytelling with beautiful graphics and great, well, fun gameplay in engaging well. Because of how well written that game was in terms of a story aspect, it's very hard to justify a part 2, especially the way it concluded. It pretty much was a perfect ending. So it's interesting that Naughty Dog wanted to have another crack at this game series, and it seems like they wanted to do this more from a place of them having a really good story they'd want to tell, rather than them trying to cash grab this franchise. Without spoilers, right, this game starts off 5 years after the events of the first game, and it has Ellie and Joel living in Jackson, or Jacksonville, I believe it's Jackson. And this is a story about Ellie and how a tragic event happens to her in Jackson because of a rival crew, and she goes out to get vengeance on that crew based on the horrible act they have committed. This story goes through what she does, how she does it, and it comes from a place of if how far is far enough. And yeah, that's pretty much the synopsis without spoilers. Before I give you my verdict on the game, let me talk about what I like about this game, well, non-spoiler wise, and what I think may be an issue or not. But anyway, what I love about this game is the gameplay. The gameplay has vastly improved from the first game. My problem with the first game's gameplay is that even though it was good, it was good to play, and I loved the survival aspect and the fact that you didn't have that much ammo, limited supplies, etc. It felt more of a tedious task to me. Like, I just wanted to keep on going to the cutscenes. I didn't really care as much on the gameplay. Like, I cared, but I didn't care that much, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't say, oh, this is solid, this is so great. Like, I was just like, all right, this is fun, and I get what they're doing with this gameplay, but man, I just want to see the next scene. In this one, the gameplay is so solid, so fluid, and it's so much fun. Everything they took from The Last of Us Part 1, they amped it up to the next level. You have a bigger environment to do more stealth mechanics, so every play space, there's more maneuverable, well, not items, but let's say locations and places to slide through and go under, in order for you to have more of control of the play space in terms of being stealthy and how you'd want to take down your enemies. I really appreciated that, because it seemed like they learned a lot from the first game in terms of the actual gameplay, because even though, yes, the gameplay in the first game was good, it was actually pretty great. It wasn't like top tier, if that makes sense, in my opinion. Even the fact you're able to like run, jump, traverse, like this game, they really upped it on the gameplay. So Naughty Dog, I give you mad credit for that. The graphics in this game, not even surprising that it's beautiful. It's Naughty Dog. It's gonna be beautiful. I mean, did anybody else play Uncharted 4? Like, this game is stunning and it's so photorealistic, even though it's on PS4. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Naughty Dog can do on a PS5, especially with an SSD and way more power. Because if they could do this on a PS4, like, look at Ellie, right? This is from the gameplay. If they could do this on a PS4, it's going to be insane what they're going to do on the PS5. The music, of course, is beautiful. It's The Last of Us, so of course the music is going to be well done. The sound design is awesome. The acting is fire as usual. I mean, that's the thing about Naughty Dog. They know how to make these kind of cinematic experiences. So from the acting and directing, it's always on point, and it does feel more like a film than a traditional game. And finally, the story. Now, I actually loved the story. I thought it was a really, really good story and well told story. and it was a very understandable story from when you understand each person's motivation. That's what I think. I feel like the story is going to be very divisive. I mean, compared to the first game, it's not just like a road trip, Joel, Ellie, here's the story type story. It's a completely different way they told it, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm appreciative of it because Naughty Dog took a big risk in trying to do something completely different from what we expected from The Last of Us Part 1, especially when you're calling it The Last of Us Part 2. Even what happens in the story, I think I might have to talk about this more in spoilers, but what happens in the story was really, really risky and really bold, and this game is deep. It is so deep. I mean, you have to expect that from a Last of Us game, but it's deep, it's violent, it's brutal, it's just heart pounding, you know, like it's really intense, and it doesn't stop from like beginning to the end. It's something special, man. So without spoilers, I love how I keep on saying that. What do I think about this game? Well, honest to God, after playing The Last of Us Part 2, two scores were in the back of my mind, right? When I was playing the game and then when I finished it. So when I was playing the game, I was like, all right, cool. This is an amazing game. This is a very incredible game. Technical achievement, beautiful, well written, well directed, all that. I think I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. But after thinking about it and reflecting it, especially how it ended and thinking about all the moments that happened, I feel like it'll be injustice of me to not give it at least a 10 out of 10. This game is actually a masterpiece. It does everything so right, and it pushes the boundaries of games in terms of its storytelling especially, and in terms of its directing, in terms of its acting. Like it's a Naughty Dog game. Like you expect a lot of these things to happen, especially like since Uncharted 4 was pretty damn amazing as well. But the way this story is told, the human aspect of this story especially in this post-apocalyptic world is crazy. Like how I look at it is that The Last of Us Part 1 was a post-apocalyptic game with a character-driven story included. This one feels like a character-driven story with a post-apocalyptic game included. Honestly, I'm gonna say it right here, this game is a masterpiece and it gets a 10 out of 10. Naughty Dog, you've killed it again, and I love the fact you're taking risks like this. Keep on doing it. You're doing crazy good work. Sony are going to be super proud of this game as usual. I mean, they love Naughty Dog. I mean, look how every other PS4 game has been influenced by Last of Us and Uncharted. I might be a little bit biased towards this game because I love cinematic style games, but if you have cinematic style games with incredible gameplay, like I can't lie, it's amazing. In The Last of Us Part 1, it's the story that really elevated the game. But in this one, it's not just the story, it's story, gameplay, like so many other things. So yeah, Naughty Dog, well done again. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the non-spoiler part of this video. I'm gonna go into spoilers in a sec if you want to stick around. If not, thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more pop culture and entertainment, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Okay, before we begin, there's a spoiler warning. I am going to go into spoilers, and I'm not joking. In about a couple seconds, I'm about to just drop a huge bomb. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Joel died. What the hell? Like, boy, Joel died? Okay, let me not lie to you, right? I got a spoiler because there were leaks of The Last of Us, right? And this is what pissed me off, right? So on Twitter, you know how you can block certain words and key phrases? When the leaks came out, the first thing I did was block every phrase to deal with The Last of Us. But one time I was on one of the Twitter threads, and there was this box that was having, like, there was this Twitter thread that was super funny, and one box said, oh, don't show inappropriate content. I thought they were just gonna like say the C word or like something NSFW. I thought it was gonna be something like, you know, not that bad. I click on it, boy, I just see Joel died. I'm like, what? Ah, I was so pissed. It didn't really spoil the game too much for me because it happens in like the first like 2 hours or less, and the way he died, oh man, when he got shot, I already knew he was dead. I was just like, not even thinking of spoilers, I was just like, oh nah, he's dead, he's dying, isn't he? Like, this is a revenge story about Joel, isn't it? Especially how they barely showed him in the trailers, like, man. And even the trailers they showed, Naughty Dog, you did us dirty. Like, you hid that so well. Like, it was really good editing. It was very good editing. There's one trailer where Ellie looks back and goes, oh, why are you here? You think it's Joel? Nah, G, it's Jesse. Man, Naughty Dog, you're turning into Marvel, low-key. But anyway, back to the main topic at hand. Joel flipping died, and that was so painful. I'm half and half on the way he died and how quickly he died, but after finishing the game, I understood why he died so quickly. I think the whole point of killing off Joel early was to go through the game, keep on going through the story, go through the memories, see the heartbreaking relationship between Joel and Ellie as they've gotten older, and then the way it ended, especially how Ellie was just about to forgive Joel, he dies, and that is, oh man, that is so painful. When I got to the end and she said like that she was so close to forgiving him, or at least she was gonna try, I was just like, fam, like it was just so painful. Okay, so I heard the leaks also said about Abby's side of the story being playable. I didn't know that, so that was such a big shock to me when halfway through the game, especially when Tommy's pinned down and Ellie's like at gunpoint and we switched to Abby's story. I was like, wait, what? Like, don't tell me this is gonna be half of the game, because you start off the game feeling like you need to kill Abby. Like, Abby needs to go. She killed Joe. This is a no-go. This is a low blow. Like, she needs to be killed, and her whole friends. Like, that Manny spat on Joe, fam, he needs to go too. But then eventually, when you get to her side of the story and you start seeing the human aspects around her and her friends and how they were living in Seattle and how they were some of them are ex-Fireflies and all that, you start to feel kind of bad. I wouldn't say I fully felt bad, because yet again, they killed Joel. I mean, Joel's our guy, but I did feel some sort of remorse in the fact that I do understand why she killed Joel. Like, Joel had to go. He did a very, very terrible thing. Like, don't get it twisted. As much as we love Joel, he did a very terrible thing. Like, even if he saved Ellie, he killed hella Fireflies, and those were the only Fireflies who could turn Ellie into an actual cure to save the world. And the fact that he even stopped them from making a cure to save the world. He did a very terrible thing. But, like, man, it was so sad to see the Doctor. It was so sad to see all their backstories and Abby's story. Actually, funnily enough, I think I preferred Abby's story to Ellie's story, and I didn't expect that at all. Like, I was thinking, how can anyone top Ellie's story? I mean, Ellie, we all love Ellie. Like, Ellie's a G. But going through Ellie's story, I loved it because it was just all about hate, all about anger, and then Ellie was just going deeper and deeper into darkness in order to get this vengeance for Joel. Even towards the end of the Seattle portion, when she killed Owen and man, I forgot his girlfriend's name, but the pregnant girlfriend, and she saw that she was pregnant, like, she realized that, man, my human emotions are just starting to go. Like, it was deep. Like, that's why I really, really love the game. It is deep and it's violent. It is just, it hits it home with this darkness. Abby's side of the story is basically what The Last of Us Part 1 was, in a sense. Like, that was the whole road trip adventure type, let's beat up with the buddies, you know, and survive type game. That was what Abby's side was. And I really, really liked it. Especially how you go and see the people that Ellie's basically killed, and you now have a bigger backstory of how they used to live, and you feel even worse. When you're going through Abby's portion and you think back to how you brutally murdered all her friends and you're talking to them freely, you're like, oh, right, yeah. Like, the gripes I had with the story a bit were a couple. One, I think that the final, like, portion, I think, was it California portion, was a little redundant. Like, I didn't think it was needed. It wasn't necessary. You could have ended the game with Abby trying to kill Ellie and, you know, leaving her alone. We'll talk about that in a minute, because that's a big thing. And we could have just moved on. And okay, granted, right, the final fight was so beautiful, but the lead up to that fight, especially the whole California bit, was a little, it was okay, I guess. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking or special. It was just like kind of shoehorned in a little bit, but that's just how I feel about it. Obviously, as a Last of Us fan, I would have preferred to have a game with Joel and Ellie going to go like on a journey, obviously, but I respect the fact that Naughty Dog took their direction the way they were going to take it. How it ended as well, I loved the final fight. It was so sick. Like, that, it hit me. It was like da-doom, da-doom, like, it was sick. And I love the final conversation that Ellie had with Joel. That was just very gut-wrenching. Last but not least, let me talk about that bit that I was meant to talk about. You're meant to kill Ellie, boy, I was like, no. At that point where Abby has to kill Ellie and you play as Abby, I was like, please, Naughty Dog, don't make me kill Ellie. I don't want to kill Ellie. Like, it's Ellie. Like, why would I want to kill her? Like, if it was a Rockstar game, Rockstar would have said, okay, pick one of the characters and kill one another. That's what would have happened. But because it's a Naughty Dog game, you're forced to be Abby and kill Ellie. And man, I almost lost it, man. I was just like, no. But Ellie was strong, man. Like, Ellie was she's strong, bro. But it makes sense because, I mean, how can someone be killing all these people and not be strong? Like, you know, I mean, it's the same with Last of Us 1 when you think about it. You could just do a decision whereby you either kill the Fireflies and save Ellie or save the world. That would have been, oh my god, if that happened, that would have been like ridiculously painful. But anyway, we got The Last of Us 2, so thank God that didn't happen. And other than that, I can't really say much else in the spoiler section. I just really love this game. This game was fire. A lot of the reasons why I love this game is mainly because it not only has incredible gameplay, but it has an immaculate story, and the way it's told is beautiful, and the graphical fidelity of the game and even the music, everything just has a perfect package. I get why people might say it's not the best because the story is completely left field. I feel like it's one of those ones where it's going to be interpreted differently by people, and I get that. The reason why I love it is because I can relate to characters, and that's why it hit me even more when I was relating to each one of the characters, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is deep. Especially the hatred part of it and the cycle of revenge, how one revenge can lead to another and it can lead to another. It's true, like every cause has an effect. Like, it's just one of those. But or the other way around, every effect has a cause, basically. I'll say this again, right? This is a very, very risky game. Like, they didn't do this to please the fans. They did this to make a very, very good story. So I could guaranteed see why there's so much hate. I feel like the hate is a little too much though, but I do get why there's a lot of hate in the community. Excessive, but I do get it. I'm just grateful that we have developers like Naughty Dog making games like this. Now, is this going to be Game of the Year? Probably. I don't know. For me, it is. For me, this is definitely Game of the Year so far. I mean, I loved Final Fantasy VII, but man, I mean, look at this game. The only person that could probably go toe-to-toe with this game is Cyberpunk, and that got delayed till November 22nd, so we don't even know if it's going to come out in time for the Game Awards, so we'll just have to wait and see for that one. But yeah, man, Naughty Dog, well done. This is done a really good job. My next question is, what do you think Naughty Dog is going to do in the future? Do you think they're going to make a Last of Us Part 3, or do you think they're going to make a new IP? Now, if I was to tell you my opinion, I think they're going to make a brand new IP. I don't even think they're going to touch Uncharted anymore. I feel like with Last of Us Part 2, though, you can only make a sequel to it when you really and truly feel like it deserves a sequel. Like, this was the problem with Last of Us Part 1. It was so perfect that you didn't really need a sequel, you know what I mean? And they only made a sequel when they realized they had a really good story they wanted to tell. I don't know how they're going to do it with Last of Us Part 3. But either way, we're not going to be seeing Last of Us Part 3 for at least like 8 years or 7 years. So that will be in the future, I guess. But anyway, those are my spoiler thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2. Do you like the game? Do you not like the game? Do you have any gripes? Do you want to punch Abby, I guess, for killing Joel? Let me know in the comment section. I'm open to discussion. Thank you very much for being awesome and watching this whole video all the way through. And I hope you have a great day and stay safe. All right, see you later.